Hi there and welcome back to the show. Before we get going with our next guest, I just want to go over something that is a question that a lot of people have, and that is, what is organic? What does that mean? And it can be a bit of a complicated subject, so I want to direct you to a resource that'll help you to understand it better. But it's more than just growing foods that are pesticide-free. There are benefits for the environment, there are benefits for the earth, for the farmer, for livestock, and for you. If you want to know if something is really organic, you can go to a website called www.organicweek.ca, and it'll show you the Canada Organic logo, which I'm just going to hold up here. And that will show you that you've got a truly organic, certified, accredited product. So you have to be careful with using or looking at a product if it says natural on it. Natural is not a term that has been regulated like the term organic. So something that is labeled natural is definitely not organic usually, and sometimes it's not even healthy. So if you want to know if something is natural, then it's better to look for the accredited, certified Canada Organic logo. So go to that website that we mentioned there. I'm going to welcome to the show now Brigitte, Cosens, who is the coordinator for the community gardens here in St. Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so community gardens, tell us, what is a community garden?
Well, a community garden can take many different shapes and sizes depending on where it's located and what the group of people who are interested in the community garden. Some community gardens are a communal effort where you have everyone working on a large piece of land, or you have a community garden that it's divided into individual plots. Here in St. Thomas we have both. We have one community garden that's located on Kane Street that has all just 10 individual community plots, and people have, or families have their own plot. On First Ave we have both 10 by 10 individual plots, and then we also have 2 communal gardens. And the purpose of the communal gardens is to produce food for some local groups that are in need, like the Caring Cupboard. There's a women's shelter that we've been able to give some produce to. Also, some community gardens have larger areas set aside for melons or squash, things that are kind of more spreading in nature. So, and the idea of a communal spot is that everyone shares in the work and then shares in the produce too that comes from there.
Okay, cool.
So it's collectively kind of a worked on piece of land rather than having your own separate, 10 by 10 plot.
Okay. What are the benefits if somebody wants to get involved in the community gardens? What are the benefits of it?
Well, the benefits are that you're collectively working together. So the relationships, to me, I think one of the most important things is the relationships that get to form in a community garden. You'll be gardening next to someone who has great knowledge in, say, growing zucchinis, and so then you end up sharing that information and that knowledge just by working side by side. The benefits of physical activity, I mean, if anyone's specifically been out there gardening these days, you're sweating and you're working up a storm. So physically the benefits are tremendous. Being able to produce your own food is also a huge benefit. Being able to control everything that goes into that food. So technically a community garden is organic if we're not using any fertilizers or pesticides, and we're putting organic matter in to feed the plants. And
so even though it hasn't been certified, accredited organic, it's still much more an organic way to grow food and to control, like you said, control everything that's happening in the food versus buying something in the grocery store and having no idea what happens to it.
No idea where it's coming from. Yeah, because you're the producer of that food, so you directly have all ownership and control on how that's going to grow. Except for Mother Nature, of course, who right now is beating down hard on us with lack of rain. So you have the control on making sure you water it, but certainly there's some things that you can't.
Okay, great. If someone wants to get involved in the community gardens here in St. Thomas, what's the process? How does it work?
Well, the process would be to contact me, and I think that our phone number will be up there for you. And then, well, we're full this year, but basically we start in the early spring, we'll be starting, I guess, kind of researching if we need another community garden here soon in the next couple of months. But you would contact me, or there's a Facebook site, which is the St. Thomas Community Garden. or an email address, which is the St. Thomas Community Gardens at hotmail.com, and you can send me an email and I'll get back to you.
Okay, and then once I decide I want to get involved, so it's next spring and I really want to have my own plot at the community gardens, what's involved in the process? Like, do I have to pay for it? Then what do I have to do to keep my plot healthy and growing and all the rest of it?
So we've established a set of rules and guidelines, I guess you could call them, and basically that's, one of the rules and guidelines is that there's no fertilizer used, or if you're using fertilizer, it's an organic mixture of coffee grounds or your own compost at home. And the other rules are it must be weeded and maintained. Let's see, you can grow any fruits and vegetables you'd like. There's no limit there. We certainly encourage, I guess, I don't know if you can call it etiquette, but if you're growing corn, that you're not shading it on someone else's plot, that you're putting it somewhere, on your own plot, although most people don't generally grow corn, but that would be a good communal plot, I guess, item.
Okay.
Dusk to dawn. We have a kind of a no smoking guideline, obviously, but most people who are gardening aren't, I guess, avid smokers.
And there's tools there for people to borrow
and use. There's tools,
yeah.
Kane Street has their own garden shed that we have tools, watering cans. There's an information board there to communicate with other gardeners if you're not getting there at the same time. We're looking for a garden shed on First Ave. If anyone is in the market of removing one from their own home, we'd be happy to take that off their hands. We have water there available. The cost of a community garden plot for us is $30 for the season, and that gets you, we pay for the cost of water and insurance. And then we also run programs and events throughout the year. So, for example, we did a workshop on how to get started, and we had some information and education based on what you should be growing and where and how. And then we have a canning preservation session that we'll be doing in the fall, and that's basically how to make salsa or Roma tomato or canned tomatoes, those kinds of things. And so we'll be helping people learning with that. We have actually a celebration day, tomorrow, that will be kind of celebrating how far we've come to these two community gardens in St. Thomas.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I have a plot in the community gardens here in St. Thomas, and one of the things I really loved is that as sort of a beginner gardener, I didn't know, well, what goes with this, how far away are you supposed to plant something? Mm-hmm. So being involved in the community garden for me as a beginner was amazing, because we had all of this resource of great knowledge where people taught you exactly from like the very beginning, planting seeds or planting small plants, how to do it. A lot of people might be intimidated for gardening, as I was, and I found it amazing. I'm also really looking forward to learning about preserves and preservation and canning and all that, so I can enjoy my garden stuff through the winter. Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit about some of the benefits of the community garden. Let's talk a little more about benefits for health in being involved in the community garden.
Well, I think naturally, as soon as you start to grow your own food, then you start to cook your own food, and you're learning more about different things to do with, say, the zucchini that you bring home. I think, and then it just seems to kind of spread like a virus, really, that you want to try different things. You want to, enjoy the different produce that you're producing. You learn new recipes. You share recipes. People have different ideas. Like the kohlrabi, that's the first that was brought up. I didn't know of this vegetable either, and now we have it everywhere in the community garden. So it brings, you add more flavor and more variety to your own diet. You certainly are exposed to copious amounts of vegetables at this time of year, and so you almost become a vegetarian because you're filling up on all of these vegetables rather than anything else, because you got to eat it or else it goes to waste, obviously.
You mentioned before the show when we were talking about the benefits of the exercise associated with gardening. What was the stat that you told me?
Well, it's the second most popular physical activity going, besides walking. I think it goes walking and then gardening. So certainly the physical activity involved in community garden is, well, especially if you're doing the communal plots and you're weeding those, which I did some of this morning, worked up quite a bit of a sweat. You're bending, you're stretching, you're pulling, it's kind of like a little mini gym workout, really.
Okay, great. Tell us again how we can get in contact with you if anybody is interested in getting involved in the community gardens next year.
Well, if anyone is interested in starting their own community garden in their own area, it's important to just gather the people who are interested and identify, how you want this community garden to be, because there is possibilities. We were at our limit. We had a waiting list for our community gardens this year. So if you're interested in establishing one in your neighborhood, you can contact me, and I can help you with navigating through the municipality on how they can establish pieces of land for that community garden. If you're interested in our community garden plots, you can contact me, which is Brigitte Cosens, and my phone number is 519-637-6390. And we have a Facebook site as well at the St. Thomas Community Gardens, or stthomascommunitygardens@hotmail.com.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for being with us on the show. Thanks also to Sean DeVries. We're going to finish off our show one more time with our amazing health fact. We're talking about food today, so here's how this fits in. During the average lifetime, you will spend 5 years eating, and you'll eat about 60,000 pounds of food. That's the weight of about 6 elephants. Your body is an amazing machine. Make sure that you take care of it and feed it well. I'm Dr. Peggy Malone, and until I see you next time, live well.